everybody. Before commencing the session, my sincere pranams to our beloved Master, Brahmarshi Patriji, and beloved Grandmaster, Matar Babaji. Namaste to all, my dear friends, my dear gods, my dear masters. Today, we are going to discuss about the illusion and what is the illusion, what is the reality. This is the topic. Illusion versus reality. Okay, let's discuss about this. Yes. So the illusion, especially, we all know there are two things. One is spirituality, one is materialistic life. It's called prapanchika. Prapanchika adhyatmikata, right? So we always try to think that both are different. Both are different, but both are not different. Okay. So whatever we see, this physical world, in the physical world, everything with respect to time, it will diminish. Okay. What is the physical, what is the materialistic life, what is the spiritual life? Let's understand. But in general, we think that both are different, but both are not different, both are one and the same. There is no differentiation, there is no separation, right? Everything originates from the consciousness. There is only one thing which is called consciousness, which is called prajna, prajnanam brahma. That prajna is the truth, is the reality. Prajna is the reality. Everything else is illusion. Let's make a clarity about it. Today, let's take a more clarity about this. So we think whatever we see with the physical eyes, this physical world, right? For a common man, this looks real. This looks appealing. This looks real. This looks as a truth. But it's not so. Prapancha means prachoda, like prachodita panchabhutagalu. That's called prapancha. Prachodita panchabhutagalu. That's called prapancha. That means the panchabhutagalu, that means the nature 5 elements are prevalent in this physical world. That's why it's called prapancha. It's also called jagattu. Janana agodu, that means janana marana. That is janisodu, gatisodu. Like that. That means which will born, which will also die eventually. This is called jagattu. Right? So this is how whatever we see here with this naked eyes, so-called this prapancha, so-called this world, the bhautika prapancha or physical universe. Everything, all this will die one point of time, including Earth. Earth also will have some age. After certain age, the Earth also will disappear. The stars, star system, galaxy system, planets, everything for that matter, everything will diminish or will disappear after some time. But now it looks everything is there. Whatever looks everything is there, but it will die after some time, which is not going to be there, which is not going to be eventually there. That is called Maya. That's called illusion. Illusion means whatever it appears to be now, which is not going to be everlasting. It's going to diminish over the time, with respect to period of time. So that is called Maya, that's called illusion. Try to understand this. So now, whatever we lead the life, our life especially, everything is spirituality. Spirituality is the basic, spirituality is the root actually. Physicality is the fruit. Without spiritual, there is no physical. If you understand that, so-called the consciousness, so-called the prajnanam Brahma, so Brahma Parabrahma, Atmave Parabrahma. That means so-called Parabrahma, nothing but this prajna, this consciousness only. So the entire the whole cosmos, the entire creation started happening from this consciousness only. Wherever there is a consciousness, the mind originates. Without consciousness, there is no question of energy, there is no question of mind. Mind is nothing but consciousness. So that's how, when we try to understand, friends, let's say, just for the sake of more understanding, what is consciousness, how the over the period of time, like for last 200 years or more than that, the physical sciences, what are the physical sciences which we, in the form of all the technology and everything we are trying to experience here on this earth planet. They have been exploring. They have been exploring only the matter. They were completely into the grass matter. They were not aware of this energy point of view. They were not aware of the so-called subtle energy levels, so-called consciousness. They were not aware of it. What they were trying to do is, they were trying to dissect the matter, the subtle, gross matter. So they go on dissect into the smallest particles also. If you dive into the smallest particle, what do you find there? Let's understand that. So a smallest particle in any substance, it can be a solid, it can be a gas, it can be liquid, it can be semi-liquid, whatever it may be. So the smallest particles are atoms and molecules. Molecules, and then within that, so many atoms combined, which forms as a molecule. Water molecule. What we call it as water molecule? H2O. Two hydrogen atoms, one oxygen atom. Right? So they are positive and negative. Combined together, it creates one certain substance that's called water. So within that, there are two atoms of hydrogen and one atom of oxygen. So now, if you go into this, so-called hydrogen oxygen, that's the smallest particle in the substance, right? If you just go and dissect it, what do you find there? If you go on dissect, again you find a nucleus. Within the nucleus, there are protons, there are neutrons which are existing there, which won't revolve, which won't move. They are static in nature. Around the nucleus, there are orbits. Inside the orbits, the electrons are rotating at their own speed, at their own velocity, at their own state of being. They are vibrating continuously. That's the subtlest vibration which is happening within every smallest substance, smallest particle in this universe. So this is a direct indication, the direct evidence that everything vibrates at its own speed in this whole universe. Right from the smallest particle to the biggest object in this whole universe, everything, it vibrates with its own frequency and amplitude. So it means that the entire universe, everything is nothing but, everything is actually a vibration, a consciousness, a energy. Basically, the first is consciousness, then the from that, what it originates is vibration and energy. It means everything in this whole universe, in this whole cosmos, everything is a vibration and energy. That's all. So these two are the main parameters everywhere you can find. Now, when you go into that subtlest way, when you are looking at the inside the nucleus, around the nucleus, inside the atom, you find this kind of configuration. Now, let us see the smallest particle, electron, isn't it? So then after, if they try to dissect, if they try to see inside means, between the electrons and protons and all these things, how they formed and what exactly the configuration. And if you still dissect what happened, finally they found nothing. Finally, the scientist found nothing. That is called sunyatva. That is called the so-called, what we say, consciousness. So that is emptiness, complete emptiness, voidness. What is there? That is the consciousness. Right? So the matter originated from the consciousness. That is why we say mind to matter, not matter to mind. There is something called one statement you need to understand. Mind to matter, not matter to mind. Understand? So now, so then what happened? What happens in the recent the evolution of physical sciences? Something called quantum science, quantum physics have been evolving. In fact, from to 1902, 1902. So there is something one scientist called Max Planck scientist. He has researched so well, and of course, I think if I am correct, he could have got. I think he got Nobel Prize also for his great development and for his the continuous research and findings in the field of quantum science, quantum healing, quantum mechanics. So what did he say? He said everything very clearly, and afterwards, his teachings and his follower, so-called Werner Heisenberg, continued his research. About 1970s or so, he vacated his body. Then from 1970s and after that, the Werner Heisenberg, right? So of course, Werner Heisenberg has been working with him from 1950s or so. So he continued his research. Albert Einstein also belonged to the same so-called Max Planck Institute of, the quantum science or whatever. So he belongs to the same institute again, university. So that's where all these people, they are involved very much into the quantum healing or quantum mechanics or quantum science or quantum physics. So now what happened is, so Werner Heisenberg also continued. Then at last, after that, his follower, the Hans Peter Dürr. He was the great scientist. He was the researcher. He was the recent man in that lineage. He also continued his research. He died in the recent times only. The recent times he died. And no, he did the research for 35 continuous years on the matter, on the matter. What to find? To find nothing. What he said, with my continuous research of 35 years I spent on the matter, dissecting the matter and exploration of the matter. Finally, I ended up finding that there is nothing inside it. It's a completely voidness, it's a completely emptiness. Just to find this, I took 35 years. And at last, what he said, so this is as good as, this is in the lines of, in the teachings of so-called your Vedas, especially Adi Shankara has told thousands of years back the same thing he told. There are no two things. There are no two things, friends. It's only Advaita. There's only one thing existing. That is called consciousness. That is called Atma Chaitanya. That is called, so-called, we can say, whatever the names you can say. Lord Ishvara, Krishna, Rama, Allah, Jesus, whatever the name you say. That is what only the thing existing. Everything else comes and goes, comes and goes. That's all. The whole cosmos, I'm telling you. Sun, Jupiter, Mars, Bruhaspati, and Earth planet, and so many other galactics. Everything, they just like, they like a bubble. They come, sometimes they stay. The time can be anything. The time, see, for us, actually 120 years. For an elephant, it's something like a different timing. For a tortoise, different timing, isn't it? And for the Earth planet, maybe crores of years, crores of lakhs of years. But after that, it has to merge into the so-called the Purnatma. There is no way. There is no way that it can be long lasting. It can be everlasting. There is no question of doing that. There is no question of such a kind of existence. What is reality is your consciousness. That is the reality. Everything else is an illusion, friends. Everything else is an illusion, right? So as a human being, if you start doing meditation, if you are going inside of you, right? If you start observing the breath, so breath takes you towards the so-called consciousness. See, the breath is the medium. Breath is the only way which will take you very nearest to the so-called consciousness, which is very close to which is in your body, which is the one particular thing. which is very, very close to the so-called consciousness or a soul consciousness, is only breath. Breath is the bridge between the physical body and the soul directly. Nothing else can connect these two things. Remember this. When breath is lost, so this is called seva. When the breath is lost, this body of no value, isn't it? However the physical body is so beautiful, so powerful, so energetic, so healthy, whatever, however it may be. Once the breath is lost, you are unable to take the breath. Why you are unable to take the breath? Because the consciousness has left you. Consciousness has left this physical body. As long as this consciousness exists in any of the matter is live. Even so, there's another way of understanding also. Even the consciousness left, but once the physical body died, physical body collapsed, right? So that physical body start disintegrating and trying to, so who will be going to disintegrate that physical body? So his own bacteria, the bacteria which was existing in the same physical body, that starts eating that physical body, right? Now you see, the physical body is the matter which is made up of which is made up of consciousness and energy. Now the consciousness left, but there is pranic energy in that. There is a pranic energy. That's what I would like to tell you. So everything in this whole universe, in the cosmos, everything, achara, chara, that means movable or immovable. It can be right from your mineral kingdom, plant kingdom, animal kingdom, and so-called water kingdom. Everywhere there is something called consciousness and energy, isn't it? So we think that mineral kingdom is not alive, not alive. No, it is alive. The vibrations are very, very, very slow. But there is a consciousness, there is energy in that. That's what we need to understand. So what we see with these eyes, naked eyes, that is not only the truth, my dear friends. That is not only the reality. The reality is always persisting. Sometimes with our naked eyes, with our naked ears, we may not hear, we may not see also. That may not be possible, but they are existing. If you try to understand, in your own life, many things keep happening around us, isn't it? So every one of us know that this physical body will be diminishing with respect to time. But how many attachments we have taken in this same current life? How many attachments we have taken? So we think that our parents are real parents. We think that our brother, sister, daughter, son, they're all permanent. These are all our own things, isn't it? My property is my own. We always say that this body is mine, this property is mine. Everything we keep saying, it's mine, mine, mine. I know these two things. So these two things are nothing but Maya, nothing but Brahma, nothing but illusion. You need to clearly understand this. Okay, one fine day, everything will become zero with the just the passage of the death, so-called death. The death will nullify. Death will convert into zero whatever you possess, name, fame, property, belongings, whatever it may be. So this is the truth. We need to understand. Then what is that which is everlasting? That is what which is within you. What was there? What is left? What is left? This physical body, that is permanent. That is everlasting, right? So what happens is, so if you understand these things, and if you try to make your life, if you try to lead your life happily, helping others, helping yourself, helping all others, knowing that you are not this physical body, you are not this physical mind. Nothing belongs to you. Everything belongs to so-called Paramatma, the Purna Chaitanya, right? So that's how we need to understand, friends. That's a that's how if you try to understand, so this illusion and reality. The reality is, what is reality is the consciousness is a reality. There's nothing else in this whole cosmos. So the same consciousness exists across all the beings. Now on the physical planet, we are trying to see many horrifying things. Many so much violence is going on. Now, in fact, to speak, so the current world, the current trending of the world, if you see, there's a lot of violence going on. The lot of so-called, you can say, horrifying things and injustice and the so-called negative vibrations are too much with us. The world is too much with us, and we are selling our soul. No, we are selling the soul. The world is too much with us at this point of time. Everybody knows this, isn't it? So, if you want to understand this truth, of course, you need to do meditation, do some, sajana sangatya, swadhyaya. You can understand more. The consciousness, the reality. What is the reality? Consciousness. So about it, about the consciousness, if you want to experience, you can, maybe you can understand, but understanding is not the the point of concern, but mainly experiencing the consciousness is more important. How do you experience the consciousness? If you set down your all panchendriyas and karmendriyas, sit quiet at one place, right? Sit quiet at one place. Just start putting your observation onto the breath. Start observing the breath. And in fact, when you sit down, right, the mind is working anyway. The body is set down, body is just sitting in the Sthirasukha asana, but mind is still working. You know how the mind works? Like lot of thoughts keep going on, right? But one thing is, we always feel that, like mind is not good, mind is enemy, mind is through all this we say. But mind is not not your enemy. What you need to understand is just observe it. Like, it is going and coming, right? Thoughts are going and coming. So as the thoughts are moving, so like one direction to other direction, you just watch them. You don't interfere with them, right? Whichever you start watching, like witnessing, you are just sitting outside and you are witnessing. So your consciousness is witnessing the thoughts which are moving in your mind. If you start doing it, what happens? After some time, automatically they will subsidize, right? So that's how. So what we need to do is, we cannot go against the stream, or we cannot upstream. We always need to go with the flow. Just keep observing. After some time, like one thought comes, so it will just pass away. Don't go with it. Just observe. In fact, what happened? We are taking an other way of observation is, we are observing the breath, because breath and thoughts are interconnected. So if you start observing the breath slow down, then mind, the thoughts also will slow down, and our whole focus, our whole attention goes to the breath. Then what happened? So mind anyway, it doesn't go towards any thought, or thought will not continue. It will just it will cut off. Then you get into so-called the emptiness. And that's how what happened is, when you are trying to observe the breath, or you are witnessing the so-called thoughts keep going. After some time, that will also slow down, that will also get vacated and becomes empty. Or if you are with the breath also, the same thing happens. If you are with the breath also, you are not going to interfere with the breath. How the breath is going, like a breath is going low or high, you're not going to do all that. Just witness. With that, slowly, the mind gets empty. But one thing is, if one thought between, like one thought has come, and after that, the next thought which is going to come, right? In between that, what is the gap? The gap must be wide. You must be able to widen it. So as you go on widen that gap between one thought to other thought, that is nothing but the real voidness. That's nothing but the real emptiness. That is where you you gain or you experience the glimpse of so-called divinity. Between the two thoughts, whatever the emptiness, that is called blissfulness. That is called the real divinity, my dear friends. Where do you experience the divinity? Where do you experience that kind of ananda? Where do you experience that kind of the so-called the great calmness, peace, absolute peace? That is between one thought, other thought, the gap. So this gap has to be widened. How do you widen the gap? Just be in the witness. Go on witness, 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 witness. You don't need to do anything for that. You don't need to do chanting mantra, japa, namasmarana, nothing to do. That's how all the great yogis have performed. All the great yogis, they set down everything, all karmendriyas, dasendriyas, in fact. We have dasendriyas, dasya indriyas, 10 indriyas. Set down everything, sit quiet, be with your breath, witness what's happening inside without interference. Everything else will happen. Slowly, we the all yogis, they enter into samadhi sthiti where there is no question of thought. There is zero thoughts, absolute stillness, absolute silence, absolute emptiness. Right? That is a state which is called samadhi state. So this is so-called whatever we are discussing now. This is all about consciousness. This is the reality. This is the only reality, friends. Everything else is a projection of the consciousness. Everything else is projection. Like they take birth and it will evaporate. If they take birth, they also death. They also undergo the death process. Birth and death will keep happening in entire universe. But one thing which is eternal, which is never changing, which is constant, that is consciousness, that is soul consciousness. Right? So now, if you look at this physical world, whatever we see here, isn't it? Whatever we don't see, that's also existing. For example, we are able to see the Earth planet. I'm able to see the skies in the the stars in the sky. I'm able to just see sun which is coming and going. I'm also able to see the moon for every fortnight. The full moon and new moon. I see all these things with the naked eyes. I believe that only this much is there. It's not so. There are many things which you can't visual. We can't. It's not visible for your naked eyes. With the help of so-called telescopes, microscope, with the help of our third eye, right, which we could see is there are many more planets. In fact, science has invented or science have discovered, you can say, not invented, discovered there are certain 9 number of planets, what they know, and new other planets are keep on adding into the list, of course. There are many galaxies, many multi-universities. There are so many galaxies, so many star systems, which they keep saying every day one a new galaxy they talk about. You can imagine what is the length of this creation, by which they through scientists itself we can understand the length and breadth of this universe. The length and breadth of this creation is immense, infinite. We can easily understand this now. So if you look at this particular thing, yes, so here there are certain things are visible to us, certain things which are not visible, still they exist, still they persist. In the same way, let us see. So in our current day, current day of living, if you observe, there are many waves, microwaves, radio frequency waves around us. We are living along with them, or we are living within that. There are many waves surrounding us, isn't it? So like a cell towers, like a mobile towers, like a mobile phones, all this utilization, whatever that CRT monitors, and there are many more, uh, television stations, radio stations, everything exists. All the frequencies are existing around us. But are they overlapping each other? They do not. Why it is so? Because everything is a different frequency. Though they are not visible for our eyes, if you take the electromagnetic spectrum, starting from very low frequencies, so-called radio frequency, microwaves, then comes to visible spectrum. In the visible spectrum, before visible spectrum, infrared, then comes to red, right? After the red comes to so-called orange, then yellow. After that comes to the green, blue, indigo, violet, ultraviolet. After that, X-rays. After that, gamma rays. This is a whole spectrum. It spreads like this. You see, right from this side in the whole spectrum, the one side comes to the low frequency, the higher side, the other side, other end is the highest frequency. So here, visible spectrum only you could see with your naked eyes. Remaining everything else you can't see. You cannot say they are not existing. They are existing. It's also you need to remember. That means, so as such, in this physical universe itself, some things are not visible, some things are visible. Only when you tune to the particular frequency, you can say that yes, this wave is these particular waves are existing. You can realize it easily. Through your mobile phone, also you can understand the communication is going on, but you can't see those waves. They are not visible waves. They are not visible. They are beyond or under or beyond the visible spectrum. When you try to understand this in the physical universe itself, some things are visible, some things are not visible. There is one more thing, the entire physical universe as such, if it is 1%, then 99% of invisible worlds are there. That is also the manifestation of so-called consciousness. The consciousness, the consciousness, right? From the consciousness, whatever we see this visible world, whatever we could not see with the visible eyes, it's not visible to our eyes, especially when we go into meditation, when we go into meditation, increase our energy levels, increase the energy levels such a way that our own astral body gets released from our physical body, from our human system. So that astral body, whatever comes out of physical body, then it separates. Separate means not like a permanent separation. Is a constancy will be there, but at the same time it will go out. Then it enters into the other frequencies. It means wherever we are, as such, here and now, all the worlds are existing. There are, what we always say is, there are 7 upper worlds, 7 lower worlds. So Urtholoka, Atamaloka. So all this, Urtholoka, Bhautika Loka, we can say that whatever we have, Bhu, Bhuvar, Suvar, Jana, like Karnaloka, Mahakarnaloka, and then comes to the so-called so-called Tattvaloka. So you can say like spiritual world. After that, finally, so-called Nirvana Loka. So these are 7 worlds are there. So 7 worlds the upper side, 7 worlds the downside, right? Atmalokas. It means all these are existing here and now. But we can't experience them. The reason, only one thing is, they are at different frequency levels. The density is different. The density, what it matters, density. So the lowest density, like whatever our astral body is having lowest density. That is why it is able to move at its own frequency and enters into the so-called spirit plane. With this physical body, we can't enter into the spirit plane. So spirit planes are existing here and now. We don't need to look at upside. Somewhere the spirit plane is there. When we say Atma Loka, we always look at upside. somewhere, like Atma Prapancha is somewhere else. No, it is here and now. But they're all coexisting. How can they coexist? As I explained to the radio waves and different waves are existing in the physical universe. Same way, this physical universe and the entire so-called the spiritual planes, physical planes, everything coexists at one place in the so-called space what we have. The so-called space what is created out of the consciousness, everything exists. But only thing is the frequency at which they vibrate, right? So your astral body, which travels at its own velocity and it has got its own density. So especially astral body is not made up of atoms or something. So there is something called lifotron. So there are some particular materials there with which it is made up of, so-called astral body. Understand? So that is how the consciousness can be understood. So in a so broad way, there are visible worlds, invisible worlds, everything for that matter. All these are generated. All these are the like so-called took birth. They took birth from the so-called consciousness. Consciousness is the prime source, the original source. That is the original source for all these things, which are visible, which are invisible, all these things. So if you understand, like, so this is called consciousness. That consciousness is only the reality, friends. Everything else is Maya, it's called Brahma, it's called illusion. Everything else, whatever else you see. So if you have this understanding, this much understanding, yes, of course, our life becomes beautiful. If you're able to decode this understanding, and also if you are trying to improvise your own wisdom towards this so-called reality, and also if you pursue the proper practices, so-called sadhana, if you pursue it persistently, definitely we experience that consciousness. That consciousness is nothing but, see, with that consciousness only I am talking to you. With the same consciousness you are hearing to me. With the same consciousness I am seeing all of you. You are also seeing me with the same consciousness. If that consciousness doesn't exist, this physical body has got of no value, zero value. This physical body, as long as that consciousness is there, I am called as so and so, some name, all these things they give. The moment the consciousness left, then this physical body doesn't have any name. They won't call it by name also. They say that it's a body, dead body, right? So it means the consciousness is everything everywhere. The consciousness is only the reality. There's nothing else in this whole cosmos, my dear friends. Thank you so much. Dhanyavad.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir. Masters, have any questions? You can. Sir, what happens to this pranic energy, sir, when one's consciousness left?
Yes, what happens is consciousness is the source. From the consciousness, there is something called energy. Energy will produce. Without consciousness, there is no energy, question of energy, right? So that consciousness is there. The energy, suppose, for example, within my physical body, when that consciousness is there, so it also takes the pranavayu from outside. Okay, the consciousness is responsible to bring that vayu inside and send the vayu outside. With that also we get some prana shakti. Okay, so the consciousness is nothing but, of course, cosmic energy. We call it as a cosmic energy also. So that cosmic energy, right? Nothing but the part of this cosmic consciousness, basically, which is the prime source of energy for our physical body, for the whole cosmos. It's always there. But at the same time, so this body has to work, the body needs, it's a physical body, which is designed such a way that it needs oxygen for a continuous its operations. For optimal performance of the physical body, you need oxygen. So the system has been designed such a way, once the physical body, that consciousness, soul consciousness enters into a entity, a physical body entity, then it starts breathing. Until it is in the mother's womb, it won't breathe by itself. It gets the supply of oxygen through mother, umbilical cord or whatever. It gets that. So once it is separated, once it is coming out, then it's the first breathing what it takes. The first breathing also will be started by that, so-called our own consciousness starts taking breathing, right? The consciousness is always existing in everyone. As long as we are alive, that means it's always there. So which does all the functions, right? From the pattern of breathing, how you breathe, how you give out the breath, how you inhale, how you exhale at the same time. Like the kind of operations, the continuous operations of heart, liver, kidney, you are not going to monitor at all these operations will be performed by so-called your consciousness. So especially we say that subconscious mind. We say that subconscious mind. So it will keep operating all these things without our knowledge. We do not know when to take breath, when to leave breath. Also, we don't bother. First of all, it all will be done natural way, isn't it? So that breathing, when it comes inside, right? So when it goes inside, that oxygen will penetrate inside, and then it goes to a very, all the cells, all the body cells. So body cells need that oxygen in order to do all the metabolic actions within the body. Within the body, there are several metabolic actions are happening, right from circulation of blood and digestion and breathing, excretion, everything, what not, For everything you need oxygen. That's how the system is designed by creator. Okay. So the energy part, if you talk about, so the pranic energy, that vayu comes inside means it is nothing but energy. That's also energy. Vayu also energy, and cosmic energy, that is also energy. So with which the body operates with everything, right? Even the vayu, you make it zero. For example, I'm telling you, you can see some of the yogis, they are just staying with, they are just staying with cosmic energy. For years together they survived. That is very much possible. For example, a yogi who is sitting in a meditation like Mummadivaram Bala Yogi, he sat for 31 like 39 years continuously. How can he sit in continuously in a meditation? Even then his body was growing. His his nails were growing, and he was his whole hairs were growing, and body was growing. How come it is possible? No food, no water, no excretion, no urination, nothing is there. It means the main source of energy is our own consciousness, our soul consciousness, that soul power. You can say the consciousness, of course, the consciousness means it's a part, and part of that energy is also there. Energy is there, wisdom is there. Within that, energy and wisdom is always there. So that itself is the main source. All other sources depends upon your body functionality. You can use it or you cannot use it. You may use it, you may not use it. So pranic energy through Vayu. I'm not taking any Vayu at all. And my Vayu stands still. The number of breath is equal to zero for me if I'm in Samadhi. How do I care? Why do I care that pranic energy comes or goes? It doesn't matter for me. But an average man is not at all aware of this consciousness. Of course, consciousness is there, everybody, everlasting, existing, but he is not aware of it. As he is not aware of it, what he does, he believes or he rest assured on the physical and the, like materialistic, what are the materialistic available sources? What are the sources? Water, all the solid food, and of course the breathing. These three things he takes. Nowadays, doctors keep telling that eat more, more, more. They're telling even drinking also, water also they're not telling properly. Eat more non-veg. You get, you become more strength. That's what how they are teaching. They started teaching in wrong way, right? So when you eat more, what happened? Your own energy you are consuming to digest that food. Eat less. Take more pranic energy. Do more meditation. Utilize your own soul consciousness power. If you do that much, right, you don't need to consume so much resources on this earth planet. Now the resources are completely getting emptied. We are going on using, like, what person has to eat is eating double, triple than that. You know that? Because he doesn't know what are the alternate sources of energy. Sun is the energy. Your Vayu, that prana Vayu is the energy, right? So these alternate source of energy, he doesn't is not aware of it. Even water itself will give you the a good amount of energy, pranic energy. It will supply. It will supply life force if you eat, if you drink water properly, right water. If you drink in a right way, it will also give certain kind of life force, life energy. That's how we have to survive. So this all will be understood only when you are, really taking an effort to understand this spiritual wisdom and trying to understand ourselves. When we try to do all these things, then we will come to that. Otherwise, we are living with a complete ignorance. We are living under the ignorance, so-called darkness.
Illusion.
Yes, illusion. Again, it's illusion. Yes.
Yes, sir. Palnepan, sir.
Sir, Namaskaram Guruji. Good evening, sir. Sir, I am having one doubt, sir.
Yeah.
What is the relation between the conscious and the intelligence, or conscious and brilliance?
Once again, repeat the question because it's cutting. The voice is breaking. Yeah.
Consciousness and intelligence, sir.
Sir,
Difference.
I,
Consciousness and
sir, I want to know the relations between conscious and intelligence,
Okay.
or conscious and brilliance.
Huh?
Conscious and intelligence, how they are related, sir?
Okay. So consciousness is the source. Without there is a consciousness, there is no intelligence. So intelligence is the byproduct of consciousness. If there is a consciousness, of course, the intelligence will be there. Okay. So intelligence and intelligence, these are again two words. Okay. So intelligence comes, by natural way. If you are a soul consciousness, for example, you will have intelligence, a natural intelligence. Okay. But intellect we will procure by only the way of education. Okay. By understanding surroundings, nature, all these things, we try to procure the so-called intellect. But the intelligence is a soul quality, right? See, we think that a soul, for example, any human being for that matter, so he comes through so many lives. Yes, he was passing through so many lives, not one life. As you go through so many lives, what happens is ultimately he picks up a lot of experiences. All these experiences are stored in his own so-called subconscious mind. Subconscious mind carries everything. Okay. And subconscious mind carries the intelligence such a way that that's actual intelligence. It carries the information about the not only about your lives, it carries the information about the whole universe. See, the kind of intelligence what it has. That is the intelligence, right? So, if you want to access the intelligence, you must go inside of you, you must travel inside of you, access the subconscious mind, then obviously that intelligence will flow. For example, Osho Rajneesh is to talk hours together, isn't it? Is to talk hours together on various topics, not on one particular topic. Give any topic, he talks hours together. And also, the download was such a perfect that there was not even one word to wait. Then there's not even one moment he was waiting and speaking. How come it is possible? You tell me, right? So he is tapped into or is connected, he got accessed into so-called his own the natural intelligence. That is soul quality. That's a soul quality, the soul character. Once you are connected to that, once you are, in fact, we're all well connected, but there is something called the mind, so-called the mind become so much polluted with our way of lifestyle and the way we grown with the parents and society, right? Conditioned too much. All these things, what happened? Our connectivity got disturbed. Our connectivity got disturbed. Now with the blooming up, for with the practice of meditation, we are again trying to regain the access. So this natural intelligence is only the source with which you don't need any education, right? For example, Yogi Vemana, Veera Brahmendra Swami, Basavanna, all these people, all these great Mahan yogis, they are they are illiterates, they are not bothered about education, but they can talk hours together. They can they can download like, hundreds of pages, thousands of pages. They can download it. How it is possible? That is the intelligence. That is the intelligence everybody has to access, right? In one life or other life, we must definitely connect to it in 100% way. I mean, the complete connectivity must be there. That's how Vocha Rajneesh has spoken, like, on diverse topics and hours together, lengthy of time. He was such a orator. The whole world got attracted to him, right? So this is intelligence. Did you understand what is intelligence? You don't need to prepare. You don't need to by heart. You don't need to do anything. It comes through the soul. This is a soul character, soul. So the soul property. You can say soul property. Intelligence is the soul property. Okay, are you clear?
It's like
Yes, sir.
matching the frequency of
Thank you,
that
sir.
wisdom, sir.
Hmm.
With the-
No, matching the wisdom is one thing, but with your own practice of meditation, when you deeply connected, when you really connected to the source, see, our own meditation has to be deepened. Like, deepening the experience slowly, we, like, in between all the layers will be melted out, like, all the layers will be melted down. Then you connect to the real source, original source. When you connect to the original source, that's all, that's the end of the story. That's the end of our human life. After which, of course, that's called enlightenment stage, where you are now, you are nothing but that Parabrahma, you are nothing but the part of that Paramatma, right? So that part of Purna Chaitanya. There is no difference, there is no separation between you and so-called the Parabrahma. Both are same. All the yogis, great yogis who left this physical physical embodiment and physical world, but once they got enlightened, they are merged into that universal consciousness. There is no again separation. You don't need to separate. You don't need to separate. Saying that Matar Babaji is sitting somewhere and he is doing dhyana, right? Gautam Buddha is sitting somewhere and he is doing dhyana. There's nothing like that. See, once, once you come out of your mother womb, then you also like one so-called she took birth from mother womb, but she also become mother. It's like that only, right? Yes, she took birth as a child, then again she has become a mother. That means like she's also becoming mother. The same thing happens here also. We take as a like so-called the speck of consciousness or so-called individual soul, then we traverse through or make a journey through all the lives, then we'll also become Paramatma or Parabrahma, then we become one with that, one with the oneness. So it's called oneness or one with the universal consciousness. and after which there is no name. You can put any name, Rama, Krishna, Allah, Parama, whatever you want. You can call it, but it doesn't make any difference.
Even
Okay.
attaining Siddhi, sir.
Hmm.
So it's a part of journey reaching a consciousness, sir.
Yeah, Siddhis are all part of journey. It comes and goes. Okay, so you don't need to worry. Like what you achieve. So to Siddhi also, you may do blessing or you may curse or something, or you may gain something. But
Yes,
everything is temporary again. They are not
yes,
permanent. What is the use of gaining Siddhis and displaying it, or feeling proud of it? It doesn't matter.
yes, yes. Again, it will lead to karma again.
Pure spiritual journey is pure
True.
spiritual journey is traveling towards nothingness.
Yes,
The pure form of spiritual journey is attaining that nothingness, traveling
nothing.
towards that nothingness. That is the real spirituality,
Yes,
not anything else. In between all this, like a byproducts comes and goes.
yes, sir.
See, suppose for example, a rain drops, they fall on the ground, then they slowly they walk into the channels and small channels, and then finally river will end up in ocean.
Push.
Once that's how the raindrop, once it is merges with so much traveling, it merges with the so-called sagara, that is ocean. Then the existence of the existence and the whereabouts of that water drop is no way concerned. Now it's already ocean. It's
Yes,
a ocean. It's a bigger form. Why do you want to worry about that raindrop? He was a Buddha. When he was living in a physical body, he was a Buddha, Gautam Buddha. Now he became a Purna Chaitanya. He became one, the so universal consciousness. Why do you worry about again Buddha? Keeping his statue, praying him, and asking him, "Oh Buddha, give me something. Give me wisdom. Give me this and that." Now, why you are doing all this? For them, a Vigraha is no way sufficient. Even Patri sir also, they are keeping Vigrahas and they are trying to do all these things. It's not correct. It is never correct. Keeping his idol, praying him, or otherwise, thinking that he is there. Again, what kind of spirituality you are learning then? Again, you are limiting him for that statue. You must you must look at him as the oneness, the whole
yes,
universe.
everywhere. Yes,
That's how you need to, this real spirituality, you need to understand, you need to experience. It's a continuous, our own, the inner inquiry. Our own inner inquiry, keep doing it. Then you will get this clarity. Okay? Right.
okay, thank you, sir.
Right. So I think we need to improve our members here. So number of people who are coming and they join and go. So I think new people are joining nowadays.
Sir, old people only, sir, 12 to 15 minutes daily.
So the new people who are joining, I think they are joining in the WhatsApp groups now. So probably we need to just monitor them who are all joining and who are all coming here and going. See, the problem is the individual languages, many people come. For the
Yes,
English, when they come less numbers. But
yes,
still, we will continue this channel. And what we do is we try to get new people, or in the cities, especially urban cities, when it is spread. This meditation want to be spread, no? So I think that kind of people need this platform, isn't it?
yes,
So
yes.
we need to really improve it, further improve it. And the masters who are coming here, we should invite such kind of people who want to really learn the spirituality through English medium, right? Of course, there is a huge amount of opportunity who want to involve in this the English, the way of medium of instruction in English. You have the huge ample opportunity of learning, not one or two, because many of the literature is in English only. Many of the all Western masters have written wonderfully in English. And of course, even the Eastern masters also was written like a autobiography, everything. They are written very much in English. There are many other printables. There are many other literature, granthas, everything now translated into English because we can't understand Sanskrit, unfortunately. So that is why this channel has got the highest importance, but the lowest strength is there. But we must improve this, and so that our Swadhyaya must be powerful. Okay? Right. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Let's thank Universe and Mahavatar Foundation for giving us this platform to learn wisdom from many masters, and let's thank all the masters who have attended the session. Please don't miss the session tomorrow. See you all tomorrow. Thank you.
Okay.